Welcome to CITAM ChurchOnline. Today we are following the Master in marriage relationships. Does the Master have something to say about marriage relationships? Well, join me as we continue with this exposition from the book of 1 Peter. And today we are in chapter 3. My name is Jotham Munene, Senior Pastor at CITAM, Mombasa. Welcome. Following the Master in marriage relationships. Let's hear what the Word of God has to say in 1 Peter chapter 3 from verse 1. It says, "Wives, likewise, be submissive to your own husbands, that even if some do not obey the word, they without a word may be won by the conduct of their wives, whom when they observe your chaste conduct accompanied by fear. Do not let your adornment be merely outward, arranging the hair, wearing gold, or putting on fine apparel. Rather, let it be the hidden person of the heart, with the incorruptible beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is very precious in the sight of God. For in this manner in former times, the holy women who trusted in God also adorned themselves, being submissive to their own husbands, as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters you are, if you do good and are not afraid of any terror. Husbands, likewise, dwell with them with understanding, giving honor to the wife as to the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers may not be hindered." So, basically here we're talking about wives and husbands. And of course, the perfect example or the metaphor is the relationship between Christ and the church. Christ is the husband, the church is the wife or bridegroom. So those are the words that Paul uses, but Peter does not use that, but we can be sure he has a lot of teaching from the Master that he worked with very closely. He says, and then we also know that Peter was actually married. He says that wives should be submissive to their own husbands. So wives are not to be submissive to all husbands or to all men or to all male relatives in their house. They are only asked or required to be submissive to their own husbands. And because Peter is saying there are contexts where you have the wife is born again, the wife is a church person, the husband is not. And that was the situation in this context, in the church, the people he was talking to. In our day, we also find that some of the people are married to an unbelieving spouse. And in that case, you continue to obey them. You continue to be submissive, even if they are believers or non-believers, so that they see that conduct that is honorable, and they are going to admire the way of the Lord and most likely also turn to the Lord. It says your adornment or your clothing should not just be, hair, wearing all these nice ornaments, nice clothes, but let it be the hidden person of the heart. All right? That quiet spirit, which is very precious in the sight of God. So, wives are told to cultivate that quiet spirit, that spirit of a person who does not always object, who does not always bring noise, who is not full of strife. That quietness is precious to God and also to the husband. In fact, he goes ahead to say that the example is Sarah, who in Genesis 18 we find was actually calling her husband Master or Lord. Now, husbands are not left behind. They are told that they have to live with their wives with understanding. In other words, use your mind. Understand the wife that God has given you. Understand what she likes. Understand what she doesn't like or what gets her irritated. Understand the season she is in the life. Understand the aspirations and the needs in her life and try to be that person who fulfills those needs that she has, so that you then live with her with understanding. And this understanding, you don't have to get it from other men. You don't have to go and discuss with other people. You, because you have time with her, live with your wife with understanding. That's the word of God. It says both of you are heirs together of the grace of life. In other words, you have both been given grace and life, or the grace of life. None of you is a saint. So you have to understand one another. And he ends by saying that your prayers may not be hindered. It's not clear whose prayers. Whether it's only the husband's prayers. Actually, I think it is the prayers of both the couple. When they live with respect, with understanding one another, with treating her as a precious commodity, then when they have that mutual understanding and respect, then they are able to pray. And they are able to have, because they don't have bitterness and all those things, they are able to have prayers prayed and answered in a nice way.